Welcome back. Well, Ben, I'm wearing yellow right now in honor of Jake Sunshine Sanders. Jake played football for the Darby Tigers. Really was the epitome of a great teammate, friend, and person. This story is about him, his family, and how he helped galvanize a town who opened their hearts in support of a young man going through the toughest of times.
It's his whole world being a Darby Tiger. You know, being a Darby Tiger is everything to him. He's proud of Darby.
Jake Sanders loved being a Darby Tiger. He enjoyed putting on his 61 uniform, and he loved going out on Friday nights and playing football with his teammates.
He was just always there for everyone and positive. He was one of the best teammates you could ask for.
Always putting a smile on everybody else's face and always caring about everybody else before him.
Jake, better known as Sunshine for his long blonde hair, hasn't played for Darby in 2 years, but he certainly left an impression.
He was kind to the freshmen, and you don't get that with all the seniors. You know, some of them want to intimidate them, and Jake wasn't like that. He was an intimidator on the football field, but to his teammates, he cared about them, and he was there for them when they needed him.
Little did Jake know he would be needing them right after graduating. In August 2017, Jake was moving into the dorms at the University of Montana when he felt some chest pains. He went to see a doctor who would give him some unexpected and terrifying news. He had an inoperable tumor, stage 3 non-Hodgkin's T-cell lymphoma.
I just thought it was a mistake. I thought it couldn't be cancer. I mean, he was an athlete, played 3 sports all 4 years. Totally in shock.
Jake's mom, Debbie, didn't want to believe it, partly because her son was just 20 years old, but also because tragedy has already struck her family. When Jake was 8 months old, she was diagnosed with 3rd-stage malignant melanoma, and 8 years ago, she lost her oldest son to an overdose. Going through that, going through the overdose, and now with Jake, I mean, how do you do it?
I don't know. I love him, and I don't know. I just have to reach down and find the strength somehow. I want to make him proud of me.
The loss of her first son brought Jake and Debbie closer together, and for the last 11 months, they were side by side at hospitals in Salt Lake City and Houston, doing everything they could just to try and survive.
We're joined to the hip. We've traveled all over together. He's just like, he's the best companion. He's my best friend. He's my son and my best friend.
They probably have more, incredible is the word, I mean, more of an incredible bond than any mother and child I've ever known or been around or in my entire life.
But despite their best efforts with chemo and experimental trials, doctors told them last week there was nothing more they can do for Sunshine.
It was hell. It was trying to put a smile on my face for Jake when I know where this was going. You know, it's probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. Admitting that you're 20 years old and this is all, and it's unfathomable to me. You know, they can send a man to the moon and they can do all these things, but you can't save a healthy 20-year-old boy that's got his whole life in front of you. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. It's heartbreaking.
Jake and his family were able to find peace with their faith, but it was still hard to not ask the question, why?
And why is a 20-year-old sweetest kid in the world leaving us? I mean, sometimes it's hard to understand God's will, truthfully.
After hearing the doctor's news, Jake decided to live out his last days back home in Montana. So they flew back Friday, October 5th. They got to Montana past midnight, but that didn't stop nearly the entire town of Darby from lining the streets to welcome Sunshine home.
I thought there was an accident because of fire trucks with the lights were flashing, and I couldn't even believe it.
Despite having a football game later that day, among the crowd was his former team, eager to lend a hand, like Jake did for them so many times before.
We headed up there, we helped him through the ambulance, got him all set up, and it was really cool because we haven't seen him for months, and we just heard about him, but it was really cool to help him through this.
The football team carried him out of the ambulance into the house. And I have some video of that I'll probably watch it every day for the rest of my life. The look on his face. He was just, you know, in awe, you know, just in disbelief.
After getting no sleep, the Tigers loaded a bus to Drummond to play the undefeated Flint Creek Titans with sunshine on their minds.
Love you, Jake. Stay strong, man.
Love you, Jake. Welcome home, man.
And while Sunshine didn't physically travel on the bus, that didn't mean he wasn't there in spirit, or on the sidelines, and even in the game.
A very special moment right now, Jim, as Darby is going to line up without a center, and that is because Jake Sanders, one of their former players, graduated a couple of years ago, right now is going through a big battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
It was a weird feeling because he's been graduated for 2 years now, but he's still very much part of the team. So it's like his mother. Everybody knows his mother, and yeah, I mean, I was standing in the spot I played when he was still playing, so I just pictured Jake next to me, but he wasn't there.
Darby took a delay of game penalty to honor Jake, but it's what happened next that was just as powerful. The Flint Creek Titans jumped off sides to pay their respects as well.
As both teams are going to embrace to honor Jake Sanders.
And it's pretty special that they wanted to give us high fives and hugs and everything, saying thank you and sorry.
Emotional, definitely emotional. You know, seeing what Flint Creek did for this small community, you know, that far away, it was definitely it was touching, and I touched them. I mean, you know, there's tears on both sides of the ball, so you know, it was emotional, definitely.
The support for Jake didn't end with the football team. Messages found all over town as the community rallied behind Sunshine.
You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. So for our sunshine we'll play.
I will tell you that this little town of Darby, Montana came together like nobody I've ever seen before. I mean, the emotion, the outpouring of love, the affection, the kindness, and it's just been an amazing outpouring of love.
Knowing that we had this community behind us, we could not have done this if it was just the two of us.
And it certainly wasn't just the two of them. The Sanders home filled with friends and family, everyone enjoying their last moments with Sunshine, but knowing the end was near.
He told me he's scared. I promised him I wouldn't leave him, and I haven't. And it's just, this is not natural. But he's optimistic. He's like, he's okay. He's at peace. He's at peace with himself. There have been no tears. There's been no anger. You know, he's just at peace.
On the morning of October 10th, after nearly a year's battle, Sunshine passed away peacefully, surrounded by his family, with his Tigers jersey hanging by his side. The lives he touched, the way a small town opened their hearts, and his spirit will never be forgotten. And now there's just a little extra sunshine up in heaven. The Tigers are going to retire Jake's 61 jersey at their game tomorrow, and after the game, they're going to turn the lights off at the stadium and light Chinese lanterns in his honor. From all of us in the SWX family, our thoughts and prayers are with the Sanders family. We'll be right back.